Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ijama. I am a third year family medicine resident and this video is going to be a Q&A. I had posted about a week ago asking for questions from you guys and I got some, and then I also got some on Instagram. So without further ado, let's get started. Actually, before we get started, if you're watching this video right now and you're interested in medicine, interested in possibly a primary care field, something like family medicine, and you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please go ahead and do that. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps me figure out what kind of stuff you guys like to see. And if it gets enough likes, then I can do like a part 2 and just maybe like a quarterly like Q&A or something just to answer questions. So now without further ado, let's get started. Obviously this is new hair. I've been wearing my natural hair for a while and honestly I just got tired of it. I just needed to put it away, so let's just braid it down, and then I'm wearing a wig probably all this month. So now question number 1. So how old are you, or how old am I? I am 27 going on 28. What are my hobbies? My hobbies are vlogging, working out, exercising, occasionally like to read leisure books. That used to be a more active hobby in the past. Watching basketball, talking on the phone to family, friends, and my fiance, because we're in a long distance relationship. And I would say writing is a hobby. I used to write a lot. Like I used to have a blog when I was in medical school. I had a blog, which is technically still running. I just haven't written a blog since my intern year. Writing used to be really cathartic, but then I switched over to doing the vlogging. So, and then, yeah, that's pretty much it. Just staying active, outdoor running, going to the gym, weightlifting, and hanging out with friends. I'm a lot of a homebody, so yeah. How do you plan on practicing family medicine after residency? Great question. I am definitely gonna be in the outpatient sector. I have like a niche interest in integrative medicine. So I'm doing additional electives now during my third year, specifically in integrative medicine. And then I'm doing an elective, an away elective, as long as Delta doesn't ruin everything, in Arizona in the spring at the Andrew Wild Center for Integrative Medicine to get even more hands-on training. So I ideally would love to work in an outpatient setting where either the clinic is already kind of integrative minded, or maybe they are looking for someone to bring that integrative edge to their practice. That would be an ideal scenario, but I'm also open to standard outpatient practice where I can just kind of do the integrative medicine stuff on my own, if that makes sense. Something like that. And I haven't completely ruled out the possibility of a faculty position, but it would have to be something that is primarily clinical. I'm not interested in like the traditional form of academic medicine. What things on your resume helped you match into the program that you most wanted to go to? So I did match into my number 1 choice, residency. I think that the biggest stuff on my resume was the objective things, like doing well on board scores and having a high GPA. Also, I was a very well-rounded medical student. I had a lot of leadership. My program, and pretty much any residency, values leadership a lot. So I was president of an organization. I had led a clinic, like a student-run free clinic. I headed a curriculum committee. So I just did a lot of leadership, and I think that really shined through. And then backing up the leadership was the volunteer work, community aspect. In my program, not every program is big on community medicine, but mine is. And so I had a lot of community medicine, underserved care type stuff that I was doing on my resume. And I think that really made me stand out. I had good letters of recommendation too, so that didn't hurt. Ooh, what are your plans for your first attending check? So, my first attending check probably am, depending on what my finances look like, if there's any like immediate things that need to be paid off, I would do that. But then I'm probably gonna give most of it to my parents because they kind of sacrificed a lot for me to even be able to be where I'm at. So following up to that was also some questions about residency as a non-traditional student. And I can't speak too much to this because I am a traditional student, meaning I have been in school my whole life. So I didn't take any gap year or time off. I have just been straight into like college med school residency. I do know I have some co-residents, like one who used to be a surgery resident. Actually, I have two co-residents that used to be surgery residents and switched to family medicine. Also know some people who did a research before starting residency. Some people, I have a co-resident who did an MPH in between, like before med school or something. I mean, they're doing just as well as I am. I don't really have any specific, my comments are that if you need time off, you need time off to do whatever you need to do, raise your family, get extra training. But I haven't noticed anyone who has taken a gap year or come into residency at an older age after doing a career in something else have any struggle. If anything, I feel like those people have a totally different perspective and a different drive, as opposed to someone like me who's just like been going through the motions forever. Like when you kind of step out of the motions and it helps you figure out what you really want, and then you come back into your training with that mindset. So if anything, I noticed that about them, like more driven than unfortunately than me. But that's kind of all I have to say about being a non-traditional student. It's definitely not something that is a negative. Are you happy to be part of such an inpatient heavy residency as a family medicine resident? So like I said, I'm interested in doing outpatient medicine, but I do appreciate it being inpatient heavy and having the confidence to deal with more acute issues. It helps you in the clinic way more than you think, because you can figure out, okay, this is something that needs to go into the hospital, or this is something that I can handle here. And you can feel confident in that because you've taken care of so many people in the hospital that you kind of know what needs to be there and what doesn't. So I've appreciated it. It has been difficult, I'm not gonna lie. An intern year where 90% of your rotations are inpatient is a lot, but groomed, like chiseled everything off and groomed you to really be a beast physician when it comes to more of the outpatient rotations. So I've loved it in hindsight. I think it's been cool because I feel so confident as a physician now. But yeah, it was definitely difficult going through it, not gonna lie. How do you handle disrespect from senior doctors? I have not been in that situation where I've been disrespected by senior doctors. I may have been disrespected by patients or other staff, but I've never been disrespected by senior doctors. When I've been in other situations regarding disrespect, I have a very firm tone that I go into, where it's just it's not a rude tone, but it's a very direct tone, and I just will explicitly say like, no, like that's not appropriate, or I don't think that that's appropriate in this situation, or something like that. And that usually gets people because they don't expect me to have something to say, but I don't ever raise my voice or get upset. I just have a very stern and direct tone and a look, and I just approach it that way, and that usually gets people's respect. What made you want to pursue medicine? I already talked about that in my other video of why I chose family medicine. The skinny of it is just that I enjoy learning about the body. I wanted to be in a high caliber career where I was going to be challenged every day, and I wanted to be able to have an impact. I also wanted something that was going to allow me to have leverage in the future. If I wanted to step away, I could still, do business or whatever, because it's already a respectable degree that I won't necessarily need to do extra stuff. I also like it because you can tailor it to whatever you want. There's telemedicine, There's regular medicine, there's direct primary care, there's hospital medicine. You can open up your own practice. Whatever you want to do, you could do it. And there's never going to be a lack for doctors. I did not have a life-changing experience that made me want to be a doctor. That was another question, which I had answered in my other video also. What are my personal pros and cons about being a physician? So the pros are, just having this baseline of knowledge that is already higher than the general population. You're just able to understand things more. I don't know how to explain it. And then you have the ability, or you learn the skill of being able to translate that into general language for a regular general population to understand. I think that's really cool. And I love being able to do that, whether it's for family or friends or my patients. Pros, you're always going to be comfortable financially. You're always, you have a lot of autonomy. You're no answer to anybody. For the most part, obviously you have to answer to your insurance companies and stupid stuff like that, about quality measures, and there are people checking for certain things, but overall there's a lot of autonomy in your day. You get to build awesome relationships with people and follow people throughout their lives, especially with family medicine. You are always learning new things. Things are ever changing. People trust you. That feeling of somebody trusting you, and literally every day I ask somebody what they want to do. They're like, well, whatever you tell me to do, I'll just do it. I trust you. That, holding somebody's trust like that is incredible. And you don't take that for granted. Cons, the journey to get there. Oh my gosh, freaking med school for 4 years, residency, plus or minus fellowship. Oh my gosh, the journey is just long, and you're either in debt or barely getting paid throughout most of the journey. So it's you have to go through so much to finally get to the sweeter side. So that's a con. There's so many cons. There's pros and cons to everything. Cons of being a doctor, I guess, just maybe, finding your perfect job might take some time. It's you land this job, you think it's going to be it. Everybody's talking about being an attending, you're finally attending, and it's not what you thought it's going to be. I've heard that story a lot. You kind of shuffle around before you find the right job for you. But that's in any field. I don't think that's just medicine. But for me, the pros outweigh the cons, but the cons will get you, because the journey to get there, like I said, is it can really beat you down. Why did you choose family medicine over internal medicine? I also talked about this in my other video, but I like the full spectrum. I like women's health. I feel like as internal medicine, the women's health aspect is not emphasized as much. I like caring for pediatrics, and although I may or may not do that in the future, I just like the full scope of training. How has COVID been affecting your residency? So, it was a huge change last year. A lot of our rotations got shut down. We weren't doing our surgery or outpatient procedures as much. We implemented phone visits in the clinic and virtual video visits. We had never done that before. And now that's become a standard of care for us. We had to develop a different type of backup system. So we have regular backup, and then we have a surge backup call in our residency program. And so you have to kind of be more available. Some weeks you're on backup call, some weeks you're on surge backup call. Just because you never know if somebody's going to get sick, if somebody has any symptoms, they can't go to work. And so they're going to need somebody to cover for them. It affected our social aspect of residency, because things were shut down. We couldn't hang out. Poor interns who came in during 2020 had virtual orientation, couldn't really hang out and bond with each other. All the meetings went virtual, our didactics went virtual, so there's no longer that time of meeting and seeing each other during the week to help break things up. Everything was just either you saw each other at work or you just did not see each other. So that was a huge change in our residency. And then, it just changed the experience of other things. Some of our seniors who have now graduated didn't get the procedural experience that they wanted to be confident before going out in the field. And The caliber of our rotations just went down, like the robustness, I guess, because it just wasn't, there was just not things to see anymore. So it just affected the quality, I think, of our education in certain aspects, but we had to do more like didactic type learning, self-guided learning stuff. And then like, you know, your other medicine stuff, ICU, ED, you know, instead of getting this variety of pathology, you're just seeing COVID. So it just affected your learning in that sense too. But I think the biggest hit to our residency was the social aspect, because people just could not hang out. What is your favorite rotation in residency? For me, that would be probably sports medicine. I'm not interested in going into sports medicine, but it was such a cool rotation. I learned so much about like the MSK exam, got to do a lot of cool procedures, just things that translate very well over into my future practice. So I just thoroughly enjoyed it. The attendings were great, lots of learning, ultrasound, got to work with the fellows, the patients were nice. I just really enjoyed it. What are some tips you'd give for someone starting a healthcare program? I guess it depends on what program. I think just the general thing is just, what is the end goal? Like, what is it that you want your life to look like? Like, what are you aiming for? Like, what is the goal? So I think it's important to go into any new program already thinking about what the outcome is going to be. Because that way, you know, as you're going along, what are the things I need to pay attention to? Who do I need to meet? Who do I need to be networking with? What are the things specifically that I need to know for my future? Because you know, the program is going to offer you you're going to learn a lot of stuff, but not everything is going to be applicable to what you want to do. So you just need to know what's the end goal and, you know, how are you going to get there? And then the second thing is, and if you know the end goal, you can find someone who's maybe doing something similar and latch onto them so that they can kind of help you along the way. And then the other thing is just know your support system, because that's what's going to help you through when the times get tough, whether that's your significant other, a best friend, a brother or sister, your parents, just if it's mostly rooted in your faith, just know what your support system is so that you can nurture that. Because if you don't, you'll find yourself feeling isolated and lonely, and it can just kind of make the journey not feel as sweet. So keep your support system close and just know what's the end goal. Like, what exactly are you aiming for? So that you can just keep your eye on the prize. Last one, what's my favorite aspect of residency? I guess my favorite I have a couple. My favorite aspect, I guess, is the looking back part. Like, I cannot, like, it's so shocking, like how much I have learned and grown as a professional in a very short time. So that has just been my favorite part of the journey, is just like remembering where I started intern year. Oh, it's just like horrible, you know, and like making all these mistakes. You just feel like you have no idea what you're doing. You're just like, how am I going to become this? Like, you look at these upper levels and you're like, how am I ever going to be like that? And then you're like that. And then people are looking at you like that. And you're just like, it's just crazy. Like, the growth that happens in a very short period is probably my favorite. And then, like, I guess like my more practical favorite is just the people in my residency program. We're just like all super cool, chill, like love to hang out. We all kind of have our own lives, you know, all have our own specific things going on in our personal lives or whatever. But like, we work really well together professionally, like just top of the line, high caliber co-residents that are just sharp and smart and good and just good at their job, but then also love to, you know, play hard too and enjoy ourselves. So I love the people that I work with. They are amazing. Cool. So I think those are all the questions that I had to answer. Let me know, like it and comment. Tell me it was great. Tell me it was like, okay. And we'll go from there. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, your night, your week, your month, whatever period of time you're watching this. And I wish you all the best, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.